that that celebration is related to your result. By the way, can you tell me why we celebrate Eid ul Fitr? What we have achieved?
Sir, we have it 30 days.
Sir, we
Yes,
have fast.
Abdur Rafi, what did you say?
Sir, we have fasted for 30 days.
Okay, your point is valid. So you see, we cannot fast with our own, will. It is only by the grace of Allah that we happen to do that. So once we complete that, we are happy that we have completed something, and after that, it means we have achieved something. So we celebrate our this achievement in form of Eid ul Fitr. So we will discuss Eid ul Fitr also. And why do we celebrate this Eid ul Azha? What we have achieved then? What is the achievement in that case?
Sir,
Sir, it's the month of Hajj.
What do we do in month of Hajj? What do we
We
achieve?
do Hajj pilgrimage.
Okay, so you see, doing Hajj is not easy. There are lot many things involved. You have to sacrifice your time, your wealth, and you have to go through this very hectic routine. So once you do, it means you have achieved something. So whenever we achieve something, we celebrate. And this celebration can be done alone, or we have to invite the people to participate in.
sir, we have
I
to
mean,
invite.
my point is, can we celebrate all alone everything?
No, sir.
No. So we have to engage the people in the festivity, in the celebrations. So Eidain are the 2 days for the celebrations of the Muslims. And we have discussed what is the meaning of Eid, and we discussed that why we celebrate this. Now coming to Eid al-Fitr. Where Eid falls first, Eid al-Fitr or Eid al-Zuha?
Eid al-Fitr.
Eid ul Fitr.
Ji Abdur Rafi, you raised hand. What happened?
Sir, sorry,
Abdur
my
Rafi.
mistake.
Okay. Hassan Bajwa.
So there is a third type of Eid as well, right?
Ji?
The Eid Miladun Nabi, what is that?
Okay. So anyone who knows about this
Sir, I know.
Eid Miladun Nabi? What is that?
Sir,
Abdur
it's
Rahman.
on 12th of Rabiul Awwal, which
Hmm.
uh, which is for when the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was born, and uh, uh, he was he passed away on that day, and he was born on the same date. So, sir, the people used to like they are doing it every year, 12th of February. Many people that they used to uh, pray. Like, sir, I cannot explain it. Like it's, sir, they are singing the naats and those. But sir, it's about the, like, they celebrate, I guess, um, birthday, I believe. I
Thank
think
you
so.
for your contribution. Bajwa, do you heard that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you see, Abdur Rahman, was this day celebrated in the time of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in
No,
this
sir.
way?
No.
So listen me, mera beta. Uh, we have two Eids in the Islamic calendar. Eid al-Fitr that falls immediately after the completion of fasting month, and that we celebrate on the first of Shawwal, and the second is at the end of Hajj, completion of Hajj. We celebrate this Eid al-Azha. And by as for this Eid Miladun Nabi, the concept is concerned, you see, in the non-Arab countries, non-Arab Muslim countries, they have, they used to celebrate this in their own way, and they have invented their own style, their own methods, and they have, kind of understanding in that they are celebrating the day of the birth of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and on the same time there are lot many people they do not do that because of the difference of the opinion on this issue. They say it was not celebrated by the companions of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam himself did not do that. And by the way, they celebrating the birthday, there is no, this is not something which we appreciate in Islam. So you might have heard many people they speak in favor of that, and many of them they speak against that. And you see today we Muslims mostly do not know about the exact teachings of Islam, but we follow the customs which are being practiced by the different nations. So anyway, there are different reasons. Some people they accept this, and some they say no, it was not accepted. It is not acceptable because it was not celebrated by Prophet ﷺ and his followers. So we do not do. And those who do, they have their own arguments. And as Abdurrahman said, you see, the Prophet ﷺ was born on 12th of Rabiul Awwal, and he departed from this mortal world on 12th of Rabiul Awwal. And some people they then argue, okay, what do you celebrate? This is the day when the Prophet ﷺ departed from this dunya. They say no, we celebrate the birth of the Prophet ﷺ. Anyway, there is a disagreement among the scholars, amongst the commoners on this issue. Ji Abdur Rafi, what you want to say?
Sir, we also offer Eid al-Adha in the remembrance of Ibrahim alayhi salam.
No, actually there are some activities that we do in the memory of Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam.
Okay, sir.
So let's discuss Eid al-Fitr first, okay? Still your hand is up. Abdur Rafi, do you have a question? Okay.
Yes,
So you see, when we fast, in the month of Ramzan, we do this fasting. हम रोजा रखते हैं. And when we break the fast, what is the word for breaking the fast in Arabic or Urdu?
Iftar.
Iftar. Good. So from word iftar, there is the word Eid al-Fitr. Okay. When we break our fast every day, that is known as iftar or breaking the fast. And after 30 days fasting, we break our fast for 1 month, for 1 year almost. Yani, next year we will do, and now we are going to break our this series of fasting. So that is Eid al-Fitr. And there is a common pronunciation and common letters in Eid al-Fitr and Iftar. Do you understand my point?
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And now tell me, what is Fitrana? There is another word related to that.
Sir, Fitrana.
Oh, okay. Fitrana is a charity which is given by the Muslims before the Eid al-Fitr. Before the start of the celebrations of Eid al-Fitr, the head of a Muslim family is required to give this charity, which is called Fitrana. And this charity will, of course, be given to the poor sections of the community. Poor Muslims will be given this charity, and this is the responsibility of the head of the family to give Fitrana on behalf of every member of his family even on the behalf of that child who is born on the Eid day before the Eid prayer. Do you understand my point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now this fitrana is given to the poor people that they be ready. They can arrange whatever is required by them to participate in the festivity. Okay, as I said earlier, कि भाई celebrations cannot be done all alone. You need the companions. So Islam, is a complete code of life and promoter of the protection, care for the poor sections of the society and community. Therefore, there is a special charity that be given by the head of the family on the Eid day, even if someone is born. On the behalf of that newly born baby, this charity will be given. Yani the maximum charity will be given, then it means that. This charity will be given by the head of the family to the poor Muslims, and it should be given in advance. But anyway, not later than the offer of offering the prayer on Eid day. It be given at least before the start of the prayer, but in advance it is given if. So then it will be, of course, beneficial for those who are receiving this, that they may, they might purchase something, or they arrange the things which are needed by them to participate in Eid. Do you understand my point? Why this fitrana is, introduced?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Is that, is everyone clear about fitrana? What this fitrana is and why it is given?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what should be the amount of fitrana? This is the question. I will let you know how much fitrana be given on behalf of one person. You see, in the time of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, of course, there were these crops. Can you guess? Can you tell me if the dates were expensive or the wheat was expensive in those days?
Sir, wheat.
Wheat.
You are right. Wheat was expensive during the times of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And today, nowadays,
Dates are expensive.
Dates are more
you are
expensive.
right. Yes. And similarly, the dry fruits. The dry fruits, they were then expensive and they are now expensive. Hana?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. So in the times of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, there were different scales to measure and to weigh the things. Today we have the centimeters and kilometers. We have the kilograms or what?
Or grams.
Grams. But in the time of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, it was a different thing. So if we convert the weight of those days, in the time of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the people, they would give in fitrana, minimum weight was 2 point something. At this moment, this is not our topic, but I'm not sure exactly, but I want to give you the understanding. For example, they would give 2 kilogram for per person. This is for your understanding. I'm giving this. For example, in the time of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, they would give in fitrana 2 kilogram. 2 kilogram of what?
Wheat.
2 kilogram of what they would give? What was available with them in those days?
Sir, dates.
Not the wheat.
Sir, dry fruit.
So you see, in those days, these things were also available. Listen, mera beta. Listen, mera beta. But you see, something were, cheaper than the others. But it was not fixed. Everyone will give the costly things, because there were people, they might not were able to give the costly thing, costly 2 kilo. So they would choose whatever they could afford. Do you understand my point?
Yes, sir.
But
Yes, sir.
whatever they will choose, what but whatever they would choose to give, that weight should be equal to
2 kilograms.
2 kilo. Okay. Okay, I have just supposed that, but it was different weight. So anyway, a Muslim who was going to give fitrana would give dry fruit, or the dates, or the wheat, 2 kilo. Uh, Physically, date or wheat or the dry fruit was not necessary. What was necessary? To give the value of that. For example, if someone was rich, he would give the value of 2 kg of wheat in those days. If someone was middleman, middle status, he would give the value of 2 kilogram of dates. Or if someone was poorer than that, so he would give the value of 2 kilogram of dry fruit. So today, even today, we have to give the value of that thing, value of that weight, and it will depend upon us. If we are rich, so we will give according to the weight of, or the value of the costly thing, because we are given everything by Allah. We are rich and we can afford to give uh, the value of 2 kilogram of date or dry fruit today, because wheat today is cheaper than these things. So their selection of the thing, by what I can afford, I know better than everyone else, anybody else. So I will choose for myself to give according to my paying capacity. So anyway, the point is that this fitrana be given by the head of the family on behalf of every family member, even a baby born on that very day. And this fitrana be given to the poor sections of the society for what? To get ready or to arrange the things which are needed for participating in Eid. So this is a common celebration. And if the people, they don't have the means to celebrate, how they can celebrate? So that is why this special charity has been introduced. And this charity is not something optional. This is obligatory. And of course, there is a benefit for those who are receiving this. You can understand yourself, but someone is receiving money, so of course he will have lot many benefit. And there will be a benefit for those who give. First benefit is that a person who is giving charity, or on the behalf of a person it is given charity, during the month of Ramzan, you was required to be very, very careful, extra vigilant. You was required to keep your tongue in your control, your eyes in your control, your ear in your control, your all organ in your control. But on the same time, man is man. For the last 11 months, this man was, using these all organs carelessly, and now suddenly for a month he was required to be very careful, extra careful, which he could not do. So he might have committed something might have said something, might have done something which was unwanted, and that unwanted thing will give a dent, kind of a loss to his reward of fasting. So to mend that, to restore the validity of that fasting, this charity, which is known as fitrana, is helpful. Do you understand my point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Only Rafi is understanding me. What about others? Where is Ahmed? Huzaifa Ahmed?
Yes,
Sir, may I
sir.
ask one?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Bashar?
Sir, can I ask you a question? The
Wait
2
a minute.
kg and
Just
like if the fitrana is for example 2 kg and we have to like you said that in the whole in the behalf of the whole family like 2 kg per person like we have to
yes,
okay
yes. Per person.
okay sir.
Sir, is it also $7 per person?
Sir?
No, it depends upon the value of that thing in that time period. It
Sir.
might be $1, it might be $7.
Sir?
Ji, Bashar.
Sir, you were asking me something?
I asked you, do you follow me? Do you understand what we have discussed?
Oh, yes, sir.
Because only Abdul Rafi was saying yes, and others were silent. So I wanted to know.
Okay, sir. Sorry, sir.
Abdur Rahman, are you clear? Do you understand all that
Yes,
we
sir.
discussed?
Yes, sir.
So what is the last time to give the? I mean, by what time this fitrana should be given?
Sir, before the namaz of Eid.
Before the performance of Eid. Now, you see, this Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Azha, the prayer that is offered in the same way. There are two units of the prayer, and they are offered as we discussed earlier how we offer 1 unit or the 2 units of the prayer. But after the prayer, there is a khutbah sermon, which is a must for everyone to attend. And in the prayer, in the 2 units of the prayer, you have to say some additional takbir. What is takbir? Saying of Allah Akbar is called takbir. So during the Eid prayer, you are required to say some additional takbirat. And the method in the Arab countries and the non-Arab countries is different, but they both are acceptable. For example, we in Pakistan offer this Eid al-Fitr in a different way. The different way is that in the first rakat, before the loud recitation, before the start of loud recitation, Imam used to say 3 additional takbirat, and then Imam starts the kirat and then do all the proceedings of 1 unit of prayer, and then Imam stands up for the second rakat. But in second rakat, the Imam and the people in congregation, they say these additional takbirat at the end of the loud recitation. I repeat for you. In the first unit of the prayer, there are 3 additional takbirat, and these are said before the start of the loud recitation by the Imam. And in the second rakat, these loud takbirat are said when the Imam has completed the loud recitation. And that is the time when you are going to ruku. Do you understand my point?
Yes sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
But in the Arab countries, they follow another method. Both the methods are, approved. In the Arab countries, they say 6 times Allahu Akbar in the first unit of the prayer, and similarly they say 6 takbirat in the second unit of the prayer. Now we have discussed Eid al-Fitr and the related things to Eid al-Fitr. But we have not discussed Eid al-Adha, why we celebrate that. I will discuss you with that. But if you have any question about Eid al-Fitr and Eid, let me answer you.
Sir, I have a question.
Bismillah.
Sir, the like I think so that in this Eid prayer, it is first in the first rakat there is in the first unit there are 7 takbeers, and then in the other one there are 5 takbeers.
Abdurrahman, I understand what your point is. You see, when you say 7, so the first saying of Allah Akbar is to start the prayer, जिसे आप कहते हैं ना तकबीर तहरीमा.
Yes, sir.
तो वो तो हो गई वो वाली, and then 6 other, so it makes 7.
Yes. So, sir, in the second rakat there are 5.
Actually there are also 6, तो वो उसको काउंट कर लेते हैं, वो 6 टाइम वाली जो होती है जिसमें रुकू में जाने वाला था, उसको उधर काउंट कर लेते हैं वो.
Sorry.
But you see, if you happen to offer Eid prayer in Pakistan, you will see the Imam says Takbir Tahrima, then quietly Takbirat. Abdurrahman.
Sir, your voice lagged too much. I could not
Yes,
hear
sir, your
anything.
voice lagged.
And is it okay now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, now it is okay.
So, if you happen to offer Salah, Eid al-Fitr or Eid al-Adha in Pakistan, so Imams there or the proceedings there is a different, as I said. And this is also approved. Different methods are allowed. So there you will see the Imam say Takbir Tahrima, yani start of the prayer, and then they fold the hand and they recite Sana. And at the end of this Sana, Sana is recited quietly. Then Imam starts to recite loudly. And before the start of the loud recitation, they say 3 times Allahu Akbar in the first unit. And in the second unit, before going to Ruku, they say 3 times Allahu Akbar. And when they say 4th time, then you have to go in Ruku. So this is the difference in the methods. Anyway, if you have any question about Eid al-Fitr or Fitrana.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Now coming to Eid al-Adha. Eid al-Adha we will celebrate inshallah in the next lesson. I mean, we'll discuss Eid al-Adha in the next lesson. Because time is about to finish. Rather, time is up. Thank you very much, boys. May Allah bless you all. Take good care of yourselves and be kind to everyone. Take care of your parents.